Now, shooting in Baltimore, did you also shoot in the studio?
Yeah, there's a stage. There was a stage where it's like the police headquarters, like all the police headquarters, like the whole Comstat office, and actually like where Captain Daniels, like where the office in here, all that's there. And occasionally we would build like small sets, but majority of the time, a majority of the 8 days would be out in the street, which is out.
Basically, run down your typical day working on The Wire.
Well, my day would start the night before, and I basically would. I basically had to look at the layout of the scenes and know when the actors are coming in and when they're leaving. That's always very important to me. I would see when they're coming in, when they're leaving, because then that would help me. Then I would start making labels for all the trailers, and that would help me figure out setting up the rooms, because there's a whole kind of dance to the things, because what you want to do is you want to get rid of trailers as soon as you can. So them arriving and leaving determines where I place everybody, because then, these two are wrapped, so you can take this trailer, that whole kind of thing. So I would do that, all that the night before. I'd come in, I have to, I know what time the actors are coming in, I have to greet them, make them go to their room, get an order for their breakfast, and send it to Patrick, who is helping me, and he was amazing. And then I would go to hair and makeup and wardrobe and say, such and such is here. And then of course they're always like, oh baby, just bring them in when they're ready, and I'm like, okay. And most of the time things would run smooth. Their clothes would already be in their room. Sometimes they want to take a little time in their room, and I'd have to knock on the door and be like, hey, why aren't you in hair and makeup yet? And they'd either be like, I'm coming right now, or I'd have to knock again, which is when I'd have to say, did I not knock on your door already? And then they're like, I'm coming. And then they go to hair and makeup. And so basically this whole time that this is going on, I'm in communication with them on set to make sure that they're still on time. Because what you don't want to do either is have an actor ready 2 hours before it's time for them to go on set. Because then that causes a whole other kind of thing. So I'm coordinating with them to make sure they're still on schedule. And it's just a matter of just kind of like a revolving door, seeing what chairs are open in hair and makeup. Because some days, there would be some scenes where you have like a majority of the main cast there, so it's like trying to, knowing how long each person takes, knowing how long each person takes to come out of their trailer. Like, it's all kind of like a psychological thing. And just trying to figure out who I want where first. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could dress first, you go to makeup first, you go to hair first, that kind of thing. And then just when they're like, okay, we're ready for them, kicking them into a van and sending them off to set. Yeah, and then at the end of their day, signing them out and saying goodnight.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Now, you as a production assistant, because that's basically what you do in these various sets, right? How did you get into PAing in the first place?
The year I graduated from college, I went to Virginia State University. Tim Reed, who was Venus Flytrap on WKRP in Cincinnati, and his wife opened a studio in Petersburg, which is where my college was. And they asked me, because I was working at my school at the time for the television station, for some of my interns to intern for them. And I said, well, only if I could come. So I interned for them on a film they call it Sunder. And after I did that, they offered me a job on this television series called Links that was on Showtime for like 2 seasons. And I kind of lucked into it, is basically what I'm trying to say. Because I know it doesn't really happen like that for everyone. But it was a good experience down there, because they actually trained me, and I became their first AD, and I began first ADing all their stuff. And then I told them I don't really like ADing, and so they allowed me to start producing. So I actually began producing features and a bunch of commercials for them. That's kind of how I got my start. And then I moved to New York, and I wasn't in the union, so I started PAing again.
So describe to the people about the union thing.
The union, as a PA, if you continue the route of PAing into ADing, you're going to join the Directors Guild of America. And how you do that is you have to work 600 days on a union job as a production assistant, or on a non-union job as an AD. And basically just save all your call sheets and your production reports. And then you join the DGA, and then you become an assistant director, where you make a lot of money. A lot of money. It's deserved, but But that just wasn't the route that I wanted to take because I knew I didn't want to be an assistant director. So I actually had my book, which is what you call all your days that you put in, but I threw it away because I didn't want to give myself that option of doing it and then being comfortable in that money and not doing what I wanted to do. So a lot of people think I'm stupid, but hopefully I'll prove them all wrong soon with my projects that I'm coming up.
As your step-by-step program, how would you inform somebody to get into this world of filmmaking, this production assistant work?
Well, especially if they're in New York, you're going to always run into something filming, and you should ask one of the PAs who the key PA is, because the key PA basically is in charge of all the PAs and puts them everywhere, and is in charge of hiring what's called additionals, which is where you don't work on the job every single day, but you work on a job when they need extra PAs, extra hands. Like if you're shooting Times Square, you could have up to like 30 PAs sometimes, and there's always going to be a time when they are going to need to. I haven't worked since July 10th, and I still get text messages about, can you come work, so definitely do that route, and if you don't live in New York, I started in this business in Virginia, and I know everywhere that something is going on, you know what I mean? Like every state has some kind of facility where they shoot commercials, like local commercials or whatever it is or what have you, but that would be my best advice, is like ask who the key PA is, because that's how you're going to get work, because there's going to be a day where they're going to need 30 PAs and they don't know 30 PAs, so that's the definitely route. But don't only do it if you really want to do it.
Okay, in closing, are there any other Wire, anything you want to say about the Wire, about the cast or crew, anything in closing? Any positive notes that you think people want to know, anything about the set, about your experience?
Yeah. I just hope when people watch it, I know that's an enjoyable show, and I know that it's an incredible show, it's a well-written show, but I just hope people realize that there's so much work and so much blood, sweat, and tears that goes into that show, and it's heartbreaking to me that it doesn't get the kind of ratings that it should get. It's so critically acclaimed, which it should be, but it's a great show with great actors and great writing and an amazing crew behind it that made it all happen, and I just want people to know that, because people worked really hard to give it to the world and say, enjoy every Sunday at 10 o'clock,